Good evening. This is my reflective digital presentation. My name is Dr. Kevin Sorgi. We'll be looking at the action plan for this technological implementation plan. First and foremost, Rocky Mountain High School mission statement is we'll ensure that all students are healthy, safe, and supported, engaged, and challenged. Together, we foster a caring and respectful relationship between faculty, students, and families. We create a learning environment with shared responsibility through rigor and relevance for everyone to reach their optimal performance. We're keyed in on the placement of students with learning impairments in a high school general education class, English classroom with a structure that allows adolescents to grow in their educational journeys. One critical component of this is the relationship that we have between educator and learner, enabling cooperation and an understanding of complex text in the classroom. And the biblical principle behind all this is let us not become weary in doing good, for the proper time will reap a harvest if we do not give up. If we plant the proper seeds of learning and nurture them, then we will reap a bountiful harvest. And this is from Galatians 6:9. I also want to go over the 4 goals and strategies behind this tip. Goal number 1, students will develop comprehensive skills. And this is done through the Achieve 3000 software that helps practice on their fluency skills. Goal number 2, students will improve literacy skills through active listening and reading using PDFs, assigned text, Google Documents, and emails. And that strategy is done through the application of Speechify. Goal number 3, students will increase their vocabulary, speech, spelling, and grammar skills. And we'll do that with a peer interaction using Kahoot. And finally, goal number 4, students supporting struggling readers by close read and annotating text. Students will use techniques to annotate the text. And this will be done through hypothesis.is. And this increases student engagement and expands reading comprehension, critical thinking in a community in classes. Our needs assessment. This plan will target development of comprehension skills of complex text for adolescent learners. This plan describes the focus on adolescents with learning impairments. And we look at the Common Core state standards as the implementation supporting digital literacy to prepare these learners for life beyond high school. The Common Core state standards also look at developing students for being career and college ready. The thing that we look at is the critical deficiency in high school is comprehension of complex text in the classroom, specifically the classroom textbooks. And we look at this with the biblical principle of, so Christ himself gave the apostles, the prophets, and the evangelists, and the pastors and the teachers. Collaboration. When we work together and everybody knows their position and fulfilling it is key. Collaboration, teamwork, team building, all of those nuances help flow a productive classroom environment for both the teachers and the learners. The planning process, it's key. This tip specifically aims for looking at adolescent learners with reading deficiency and empowering them to comprehend complex text and increase their reading speeds in the classroom. The goal is to utilize technology to support instruction that will allow students to grow and to be connected learners. That's key. It's a tool. It is not the major crux of this. We still, as teachers, have to give meaningful and engaging instruction. Students will enhance their chance to engage in various digital texts to increase not only reading speed, but comprehension of the classroom text. And this is done through software programs, Achieve 3000, Kahoot, applications such as Speechify that we can use on their smartphones or computers. And we look at the biblical principle of each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. So we as learners, we as teachers, there are times where students are able to grasp information a lot easier, a lot simplified information between learners versus a teacher who may give too many steps or try to make it seem too simplified. The students sometimes have a better way of explaining it to their fellow peers. How are we implementing the plan? So we look at the extension of technologies, things that we already have in the classroom or in school, Chromebooks, smart boards, multimedia projectors, and we have the internet. What we're going to ask and acquire, the Speechify application for Chromebooks for $96, the Achieve 3000 licensure for individual students, things that we're able to pick up through the internet, Kahoot, vocabulary.com, hypothesis.ed. Those are things that we're able to use there. Professional development is so key for any tool that we have in our toolbox. We must be able to be well versed on it. We need to be very proficient on it. Sometimes we say we want to be the expert, but we always want to open our horizons up and learn more about the software. How can we improve it so we can give it back to our students? So over a cycle of 4 weeks, we're going to look at doing individual sessions through faculty meetings, through our professional learning centers, and they're going to last 60 minutes, and then we'll go back to our PLCs and we'll talk about it once, for the first 15 minutes or the last 15 minutes of our PLC to see where we are with the implementation of Speechify, of Kahoot. Are we using it? Have we seen any gains? How can we bring data to it? And we look at the biblical principle of be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other just as Christ forgave you. We as Christians need to show compassion because not everybody learns at the same speed or at the same level or the same way. So when we look at things like Speechify, we look at not just the visual, we look at the visual with the auditory. As we wrap up this plan, we look at the executive summary. What does it say? How does it speak to us as educators? This plan aims to use technology assets to increase 11th grade students to comprehend complex text and grow their reading speed in the classroom, whether it be English, social studies, science, math. Learners will use this skill set in other core contents areas, just as I said before. The specific designs accepts differentiated instruction for students with learning impairments. The mixture of socioeconomic standing between other individuals in the learning community and multiculturalism. And we look at the biblical principle of we ought therefore to show hospitality to such people so that we mark together for the truth. Our purpose as a team is to model ourselves to be more like God. So we can focus our others to seek the truth and love of God, but also to seek the truth and get a greater understanding of each of us as learners in the classroom, be it the teacher or be it the student.